Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Knickin' It Weekly Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen. Joined by I am Jerrell, Ajay the Villain, Geoff, Klafter. We have a lot to talk about tonight, as we always do. We're going to spend some time talking about Cat. I think we're going to start off talking about Cat. I got to say, you know, as a content creator, it is important to kind of, you know, feel the pulse of the fans and, you know, what are they talking about? What are they discussing? What has them up in the, you know, up in the roar, or what are they happy with, and kind of talk about it on the show. But there are just some topics that I feel like are so overblown. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Cat is one of them. However,
because
I'm a woman of the people. This is a show for the people. So we will talk about Karl-Anthony Towns tonight. I know some fans, you know, pretty down on him. We'll also talk about the team itself. You know, I got a call from Uncle Freezy from Blanche Tears. Shout out to him. He said, do you notice in the chat that fans are a little down on the team, you know, because of how we've started, the near loss to Dallas? And I said, I'm not really picking that up. I've been picking up a lot of the Cat stuff, but we'll talk about that, you know, as well. If you feel like the Knicks uneven start, if you want to, you know, call it that, have you questioning whether or not you think this team is a championship contender. I also want to revisit the backup point guard position for the Knicks. Brunson was out for 2 games, and so we got a good chance to see how our guards played, you know, without him. And we'll talk about whether you feel, having seen them for these 2 games without Brunson, whether you feel more comfortable with that, you know, backup guard position, or whether you're even more concerned, you know, about it. So we'll talk about that as well. And if we can, we're going to squeeze in a little Mikal Bridges, who's been just phenomenal, you know, this season, in my opinion. But anyway, let's get it started. Jerrell, Ajay, Geoff, how you fellas doing?
Salute to the chat.
Salute.
Happy to be here.
Salute
Good
to
to
you
be
guys.
here.
You know, always good to be here.
All right.
Even though I kind of feel like I was here already this morning, because it was only a few hours ago.
I know. Yeah, I know.
But we're here again.
But we here. And you can hop on the show anytime.
Yeah, you know what? I could have. I'm like, I want to like come in and like scare you guys. Like, oh, what is he doing here? What he's doing here? It's Thursday morning.
Especially if you would have showed up green.
I know, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, with just the top. I'm like, what is that? Jets? It's just the top.
Man.
Right? What is that?
Yeah.
You gotta have that where it's like,
I gotta put the Nike.
You gotta put the Nike by the collar, man.
oh man, you guys were so much fun. Shout out to the chat, by the way. Replay game, silent listeners, Lord Scientist, you know, peace and blessings to him, going through some transitions, you know, all the best to you, my brother. All right, let's get into Cat. Let's just start with his stats from last season to this season. And then, yeah, I have a few questions for you guys. Last season, he played 72 out of the 82 games. He played 35 minutes a game, 24.4 points, 12.8 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 1 steal, 0.7 blocks. On shooting splits of 52.6, 42.0, and 82.9. Like, wow. So this season, only 14 games. He's playing 33.2 minutes, 21.5 points per game, still 12.8 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1 steal, 0.9 blocks on shooting splits of 42.9, 31.7. Free throws are up to 87.4. So before I get into some of these deeper questions. Just what have you seen from Cat this season? Are you down on him? Is this just a shooting slump in your opinion? Or is this something to be concerned about, just his play through the first 14 games? Jerrell?
To me, it's just a shooting slump. I don't think Cat is anything different than what he's been in the past 10 years of his NBA career. Like, I don't know, nobody thought that he was going to be like the best defender and, big rim protector and stuff like that. I think he's just not shooting well. Like, we talk about it, like the game last night. Like, he had 18, 14, and 6. And one of the only two starters that actually had a positive plus minus. But we got to have a show about Karl Anthony Towns compared to other people on the team. Like, Karl Anthony Towns is still going to be an all-star this year. I think this time next month, hopefully it'll be sooner than that. I think we probably won't even remember that he had this shooting slump. And, once he starts shooting well, I think everybody will kind of not forget that he doesn't play defense well, but it'll look a lot different if he actually start hitting his shots, because he's never was a good defender. Like, what are you hoping for? Like, I don't know why everybody think that he's supposed to just wake up one morning and become Mitchell Robinson. Like, that's not going to happen. So I think once he starts shooting well, give him a couple weeks. I think it's just a slump. Like, he's one of the best bigs shooting of all time. So, yeah, I don't feel that worried about that. Not yet.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ajay, worried? Just a slump?
I ain't worried at all. And Jerrell, good point. I didn't even realize that he's the only starter with a plus minus, a positive plus minus. I didn't even realize.
Brunson was too. It was two of them. Just him
was he? Okay.
But everybody else was minus.
Everybody else was minus. Okay, so listen, it just happened. You got to remember the game before that he had a good shooting game, right? That's how averages work, right? One good one bad one, and in the middle it's an okay one, right? And that's what happens. So yesterday I think he was 1 for 6 from 3. You don't expect that to continue, but the game before that he was much better, and the one before that it's a little inconsistent, yes, but it will average out, and more often than not, well, overall when you look back at the season, he's probably going to have his regular 40% from 3, and whatever he shoots from 2, I think 50 or 52%, whatever that is. So it's going to average out. The good thing is he had a bad shooting night and we won the game. So we win the game on his bad shooting night, so that's good, right? That way, that those are like almost like gifted W's, right? Because you have guys that don't play well. One of your main guys don't play well, and then you somehow squeak out a win. That's what you want. That's what winning teams do, or contenders do. When you got guys that aren't playing well, you find a way to win the game anyway. So that's what we did last night. I'm not worried about Cat. I think he's gonna be fine. It's just gonna, average out. One good one bad one, will be fine in the middle.
Okay. All right. Geoff?
Well, first we should welcome Uncle Freezy to the stage. He
So
couldn't
Freezy.
resist. Look at
Yeah,
that.
superstar in the
Applause to my guy.
house.
Orange tears in the house. Welcome aboard. But I'm not worried about Towns at all. But I will say it is kind of odd how. I mean, it's 14 games is not an insignificant sample size, and he's like 10% off of all of his, other than the free throw shooting, 10% off on his 3-point shooting and his inside the arc shooting, and that leads me to believe that there's something wrong with physically, whether it's that right quad strain or whatever it's talking about. Maybe it's not allowing him to get the proper lift that he needs on his jumper. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but clearly, I mean, this is a guy who has 11 years of 50, 40, 80, and he's at 40, 30, 80, and so obviously something's wrong. He didn't forget how to shoot, so either he's just in a slump, and but Yogi Berra once said, "I ain't in a slump. I just ain't hitting." And
you remember Yogi Berra? You ain't old enough to know about no Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra is one of my heroes, though, man. I'm not old enough to remember Yogi, but he was a great catcher for the Yankees. So if y'all don't know, look him up. But he's a hilarious human being, and that's what I liked about him. So he's kind of one of my heroes for my writing career. So I like a lot of his stuff. I love his style of humor, and so. But I just think he's not hitting right now, and it. When he's not, it's a little bit frustrating, especially he's had 4 of the last 5 where his percentage under 50%. But, I think you gotta give it some time, and you've got to, just ride out the storm. And I do think it's going to get better. And like I said, on the earlier show, I wouldn't be surprised if he just in a week or two, he just has an eruption where he just goes on like a tear, like when Amare had that stretch of 30-point games in his first year there as a Knick, where he just killing teams for 10, 12 days straight. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened just to progress to the mean, because there's no reason, unless there's a physical reason why his shooting is off. There's no reason why the statistics won't realize to the norm.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, Freezy. Appreciate you. You're always welcome. We starting off light. I got what I think is some tough questions for the panel, but we starting off light just in terms of, are you down on Cat? Do you feel like this is just, a shooting slump? It happens for everyone, most players. Or do you feel this is something more serious?
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's an injured player playing through injury. Of course, he's not going to be 100%. I commend him for being an injured player playing. Some injured players don't play. And there's no knock on them. It's just what they choose. So,
yeah. I think Cat has been all the rage. He's one of many points of contention, right, for the Knicks over the course of many years. There's been a few. So it just kind of brings up old issues and old questions. So let's revisit them. Are you still happy with the trade? Ajay, we're not talking about DiVincenzo, the 2-for-1. Are you happy with the trade in the sense that, Randall or Cat as Brunson's sidekick, basically? Are you happy with the trade? Do you feel like that was a good decision, or after seeing him for a season plus 14 games, feel like in hindsight Randall probably would have been a better fit with him? Ajay, we'll start with you. Freezy, Geoff, Jerrell.
Well, I mean, listen, Cat, in my opinion, is a more talented player than Julius Randle. And that's not to say that Julius Randle is not a beast himself, because he is an excellent player. But Cat offers, there are a few things that Cat offer that Julius Randle, that this team needs, that Julius Randle don't offer really, or at least didn't offer at the time that we traded him. I don't watch a lot of Minnesota games anymore, but every game I watch, Julius Randle goes off, except for literally when he plays the Knicks. But he's been a pretty consistent player. I don't know that, the problems that we had with him, I don't know if he still has those things with the boneheaded plays, the turnovers and stuff like that. But guess what? Cat got his old set of boneheaded plays and turnovers and stuff that he does. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a one, if it was a 1-to-1 trade, I don't think, to me it would have been okay. But my issue, Queen, I know you told me it has nothing to do with DiVincenzo, but that was always my issue with that trade, is that we literally lost our bench, and we've struggled last season because we lost our bench, and we are trying to get back to having a good bench right now. But I guess I'm okay with the trade. What choice do we have at this point? Cat is a good player. And he delivers. He's won us some games, the same as Julius Randle has done. So if we could fix the bench, this trade, in the end, looking back, it probably would have been worth it if we can get to a good bench. If we get to replace what DiVincenzo did for us on the bench, this trade is fine. So I don't have a problem with it at this point. We just keep moving forward.
Freezy, in terms of the best counterpart to Jalen Brunson, just your thoughts. Haven't seen Cat for this segment is all things Cat, so we'll start here. Have some
Yeah, this is y'all have a kitty litter. Y'all legit have like a cat has a hive. Is that what's going on? There's a litter of people. Okay, all right. So this is new.
Apollo Williams, I made a mistake. Just give me a minute. I'll get you back in. Like we talk about, you go to ban somebody or a comment and it moves real quick, right. And then it's the wrong person. So just give me a minute. I got you. But go ahead, Freezy.
Listen, man, Cat is gonna moonwalk into the Hall of Fame, whether people like him or not. Right? For a 7-footer. When you're 7 foot 250 and shoot 40% from three for your career, I mean, it was 40, it's 39.9 now, but everybody understands the gist of it, right? And you're a double-digit rebounder and a 20-point scorer and a multiple-time All-Star. Like, Cat's been an All-Star more than 5 times, right? And All-NBA. I don't regret the trade. And y'all know who I am. Y'all know I'm Julius Randle's biggest supporter. Right. Y'all know that. On those nights when he was doing bonehead stuff, I was supporting him. Right. That's just what it is. I love Julius Randle and his family. And whether it's that or extended, I love what he did for the city. Right. Because when Kemba Walker was joking about, he thought about the Knicks, but he decided to go to Boston. But Julius Randle, a lesser known guy, came here to the city. Right. You can't quantify. You can't put a win total on that. Right. That's something where a guy that was trying to be something comes here, becomes an all-star, helps revive the franchise, get it off life support, and move it in the direction where it's moving right now. Right. I have nothing but love and admiration for Julius Randle, but he's not Cat. Right. If Cat retired today, he's a Hall of Famer. Right. No people dispute that. But when you look at raw numbers, right, Julius Randle is not Cat. So do I regret the trade? I regret it from an emotional standpoint where before the Cat trade, I wasn't really a Cat fan, right? Not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying in a neutral way. He wasn't a Knick, so I didn't care. It's like Giannis. I'm not a Giannis fan. It's not because I hate Giannis. It's just he's not a Knick, so I don't care, right? So in that sense, I don't regret the trade because if you're just looking for value, the Knicks won the trade, in my opinion. Because before because I love Dante also, right? But before Dante got to the Knicks, you saw what Dante DiVincenzo was, right? He was just a guy, hard worker, trying to find his way. He comes to the Knicks, he's a perfect fit. But it's like payday, right? It's like if I want to drive the type of car AJ drives, when payday come, I got to pay that expensive bill for that car that I want to drive like AJ has. So, you got to pay the cost to be the boss, basically. So do I regret the trade? No. Cat brings a ton of stuff to this team that Randle couldn't. And, and even though I love JR, hey, man, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. So.
Yeah, for sure. Jeff, did you get it? Yeah, Jeff, and then
In a lot of ways, I hate this discussion because I think it's arguing between a Mercedes and a Rolls Royce, right? Like I don't think we have to be sour on Julius Randle or Towns. I think we can celebrate both players. I think that as far as it goes, Cat gives you more positional versatility than Randle does. Cat can legitimately play the 4 or the 5. Randle does not do that. They're both excellent rebounders. I would argue that Towns is the better rebounder, They are both excellent scorers. I would maybe not this year, but over the course of their career, it's easy to argue that Cat is the far more efficient scorer with the better consistent range to his game. And so at the time that we made the deal, we needed 5. And that wasn't something that Julius Randle was going to be able to provide. That's just not who he is. That doesn't mean he's not one of the best power forwards in the league. That doesn't mean he's not an all-star player. That doesn't mean he wasn't a fantastic, probably top 10 Knick in his time here. But both of those things could be true at the same time. And I think that, Randle's defense wasn't exactly something to write home about. We weren't all on the Randle train because he was a lockdown defender at the 4 spot, right? We liked him because he was a game changer on offense. And you say he's a better facilitator. Okay, we don't really need that as much as we need some other aspects. And I think that the fact that we get more spacing with Cat because he's a better 3-point shooter and a better driver with the basket allows the Knicks offense to be more open and more dynamic. And I think that we've seen that. Again, Randle's a great player. I don't want to disparage him. I just think that Towns is a much better fit for this team. I like his positional versatility better. And look, 7-footers who do 50-40-80 or you don't grow on trees, right? He's the one, right?
Right.
It's like him and the Joker, right? There's not, the list is pretty short. So I don't want to disparage Julius in any stretch of the imagination. Cat is just a better player, in my opinion. And we can go round and round about it. If you disagree, I respect your opinion. Randle's a terrific player, but I just think that I would say, I would put it this way. I think Randle's probably a 4-tool player and Cat 5, right? Neither is perfect. They both have their warts. But I if given a choice, I would much prefer Towns.
Yeah, I mean, the question wasn't more so, comparing them as players, but just in terms of what it does for us as championship contenders and their fit next to Jalen Brunson. Like, some people now with Cat struggling feels like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have made the trade. Maybe we should have, kept Randle. And I'm just curious, do you feel any different now that
I
Cat
don't.
is so
I would do the trade.
I don't either. Jerrell, your thoughts on it? And then if you could speak to anybody can speak to just the fit with Brunson.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much what everybody said so far. So I'm gonna be quick when it comes to the actual question, whether do I like the trade or not. Yeah, I would do the trade over again. Like, I like Cat. In terms of fit, yeah, I mean, he's a shooter. Like, that's what we've been talking about for the past 4 or 5 years, especially since Tibbs started coaching the team. Like, it's almost like that when we had Randle, a lot of fans didn't like Randle. Now that we got rid of Randle and got Cat, a lot of fans don't like Cat. It almost seems like every season there's always going to be some type of scapegoat or whipping boy that we talk about negatively when we lose games. And this is coming after a win. And a
raggedy win, though.
It was raggedy as hell, Steph, but we got it. It was super raggedy, but Cat still had, like I said in the beginning of the show, one of the only plus minuses that came out in the positive end when it came to the starters, and he had 18, 14, and 6. Yeah, his shooting percentages is low, but I think if his shooting percentages actually went up, I don't think we have this conversation at all. It's almost like we only have the conversation when he's struggling, when he's actually hitting his shots. Don't nobody think about Julius Randle.
Right.
Don't nobody talk about how his defense, like, he's the same defender he was since he got into the league. Cat has been in the league for 10 years, and just like Freezy said, he's going to moonwalk into the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Already. Like, without a championship, without going to the finals, he's already solidified himself in the NBA and what he does. Like, he is probably It's not even arguably. If you look at the statistics, he's the best shooting 5 in NBA history. It's almost like we have to say that every week just for people to appreciate him a little bit. But I'm not saying that you're supposed to kiss his butt, and if he's not one of your favorite players, cool. But to say that you would just rather have Julius Randle, like I don't believe that. I talked with the people in the chat. It's the same people in the chat that we've been here for 2022 when you started this show. Same people. They say the same stuff about the same players. If you don't like the player, we always know that what you're going to say about him. And for the people that hate Cat, same week. But then when he shoots well, don't nobody say anything negatively about Cat, except for maybe his defense. So I think, once he starts shooting well, when it comes to the fit, he's the best big shooter ever. So yes, he's going to fit with Jalen Brunson better than Julius Randle in the long term to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. First year with Mike Brown, do you think Cat's struggle is due to how he's being used? Is there things Mike Brown can do to utilize him better? Or that's not even an issue because he's getting the shots that he usually gets. He's just not making them. Freezy?
I just think he's hurt. That's it. Like legit, when you watch him shoot the 3, he barely gets off the floor and his 3-pointers are short. He's not missing left to right. Right? Like for instance, he's not missing left to right. And at the rim, he's missing because he's not getting enough lift to get through. So for those of us that play, they understand the term power dribble. Like once you get like a couple steps away from the rim, you go into your power dribble. Well, if you can't get into your power, you can't explode to the rim. And then now small stuff like guys hitting you on the wrist or whatever it is, slight bumps just throw you off. And now you can't convert at the rim. Right. So that's just it for me. I think he's just hurt. Once he heals, he's going to go on a tear, like Geoff said. Right. I think he's putting together a list of names of the people that he didn't slaughter the first time he played them. So when he get healthy, when he double back, I think he'll get people back. So yeah, I think it's just that. I don't think it's anything
schematically or anything like that. Yeah.
No, because he's getting the shots. And y'all see him. Y'all see teams are even sagging off a Cat now. They're like, he can't go by me and he can't connect from 3. So I'll just get out here kind of halfway. Right. So that's just it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, he looks strong. And like when he does drive through the lane, he's banging it. You know what I mean? Like he's just, to me, he's just missing shots. Geoff, do you feel like he's being used wrong? Do you feel like there's anything the coaches can do? Or do you feel like he's just getting his good shots that he usually hits and they're just not going down?
I think it's that exactly. And we were talking about logo shots. He took similar shots last year and he shot them at 40%. So it's not like he didn't shoot those and he's shooting them all of a sudden. We just remember them more when they don't go in. Like when they go in, it doesn't matter. It's just like any other 3-pointer. But when you miss it, then it's like, well, that's not a really good shot. And that's true. It's not great shot selection, but as far as Towns is concerned, like that's in his bag, and so he's not afraid to shoot it. Not my favorite shot in the world, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. I hate logo shots from anybody. But I'm old and I'm cranky about stuff like that. But the modern NBA has kind of forced me to look at things a different way. But I don't like those shots anyway. But to me, Towns is getting about the same number of looks that he got last year. He's getting the same quality of looks that he got last year. He's just making fewer of them. Like he's getting about the same amount of shots. The shot diet is pretty much the same. So I think it's just he's not hitting right now. And eventually the statistics tell us that he's going to start hitting at some point. And if he doesn't, then that means that there's something wrong, either physically or mentally. And then we have to cross that bridge when we come to it. But,
So
I think there's much ado about nothing at this point.
So what would make his offense just fall off a cliff then?
Look, you already covered it. I mean, it's either injury or
Okay.
or I don't know what else it would be, because I don't think it's his process. It's not like he's not attacking and being aggressive. I think that he is. I've seen the same drives that he takes to the cup with a lot of force. I've seen some finishes on some dunks that have been ferocious. I think he ended Gafford's life on a dunk last night, did he not? I mean, in the first quarter. I mean, like, and look, I don't want to use injuries as an excuse. All I'm saying is that when you have thousands of games of evidence that this guy is an elite shooter, and all of a sudden he's not shooting an elite level, he didn't forget how to shoot. There's obviously something that's impairing him physically. And if you want to argue that he shouldn't play through that, you're welcome to argue that. I think the Knicks are better, even with Cat the way he is right now, than Cat completely sitting, especially with OG injured. So, I mean,
another thing that could be happening, I don't think that's the case here. But sometimes when there's a new coach and there's new offense, sometimes, you're not getting your shots where you're used to getting them. Sometimes things are a little different personnel. I don't think that's the case here. He still gets his 3-point shots. He still gets his shots, at the top where he can drive to the rim. He still gets post up. I'm not sure if it was you or Freezy who said it. His shot diet is not any different in this new, with the offense.
If anything, he's taking more threes. Like his 3-point attempts are up by over 1.2 shots per game. So he's actually taking more triples than he did last year, not less. So it's if anything, he's taking more jumpers than he is drives to the bucket. So
but that's the thing about him being hurt though. Because when he drives, I mean, I don't really see much difference in his drives from last year to this year, and he finishes pretty strong. So I don't know about I know he did have a quad injury. Then they stopped talking about it. It's no longer on the injury report. I don't see any difference in him, at least when he drives. I don't see much difference in his game, basically. I just see him.
So why do you think his percentages are off then? It's not his form.
Players go through slumps, though. Players go through slumps. It could be mentally as well. Maybe there's something mental going on, but it's hard for me to buy that as well because he's super engaged. On the
glass.
On the glass. The way he fights for offensive rebounds, right? He's averaging, I think, 3.2 offensive rebounds. I think last year, it's about the same. Last year was 2.8, 2.9. Like, I don't know. Maybe there is injury.
Queen, I don't think it's injury. I don't think it's mental. I don't think it's just a slump. All right. And you know how he's going to get out of it? He's got to shoot his way out of it. I want Cat to keep shooting until he averages out. He gets to his average. That's the only way he's going to get out. He's not going to get out of slump by not shooting. So he's got to keep shooting. The good thing is if, he's having, like I said, he's having bad shooting games and then we're winning. So that kind of works out pretty good for us.
Yeah. So the soft label has returned to Cat. It was put to bed last season. Now all of a sudden, he's not shooting well. People are bringing up all other stuff that has nothing to do with the shooting. Do you think Cat's not getting a lot of respect because he's a 7-footer with a finesse game? And, our show, particularly, we have a lot of older panelists and, older People who watch,
we
who
old
watch
as hell, Steph. You can say it. You can say it. We old.
She's trying to be political. It's okay.
I ain't
Everybody
saying
up here
I
old.
got my red, white, and blue card.
I mean, so
Everybody in the chat old. We just
we have
old,
some
man.
seasoned listeners and some seasoned panel members who remember the Knicks from the 80s and 90s, right? And here we got Cat at 7 foot. People expect him to be stationed underneath the basket. And when he does drive, the fact that he falls, that's another issue too. So now this soft label is resurfacing. I don't think Cat is soft. I know. We are show of the people. We gotta. This is what the fan base is talking about, and then we're gonna get to the chat and the super chats. Jerrell, we haven't heard from you in a while. I know the answer. Just humor me. Why do you think, not necessarily is he soft, but why do you think he's seen as soft?
Because he shoots threes. It's really that simple. He is 7-footer that shoots.
But Jerrell, I'm sorry.
That label? Does the Joker have that label? Does there are other bigs who shoot threes?
If the Joker played here, he would.
Queen,
it's just the fan base and how we view basketball.
But listen,
Cat averages 13 rebounds a game.
Jerrell,
you can't be soft and average 13 rebounds a game. I don't care what your offensive game look like. Like what we talk about soft? Is he just soft because he doesn't play on the block, but he's hard in other places? Like he averaged more rebounds here than he did with his career in Minnesota. So you can't be soft and average 13. I don't know any players like that. Not rebounds. Like that's a hustle stat.
Can I say something real quick? Can we just? That soft nonsense.
You old as hell, Junior, JJ. What you talking about? Like you've been supposed to be an old as hell, Junior. That's all.
Sure. Yeah. Now I was gonna say last season, and not last season, the past 3 seasons. I swear, all I remember Knicks fans asking for is a stretch 5. We need a stretch 5. Can we have a stretch 5? We're not gonna go nowhere without a stretch 5. Now he got a stretch 5. It's a problem. He's soft because he's a stretch 5. Now you can't win with these fans. So the way to win with these fans, just ignore it. Just ignore everything. You know what I'm saying? We begging for a stretch 5. We get a stretch 5 now because he's a stretch 5. He shoots from 3. He too soft. He needs to be under the basket. It's like, well, what do we want? Like,
Whatever we don't have, Ajay. That's what
we don't have. But we have. A championship, right, Jeff? That's what we want.
That's what we want. And you know what? If Cat wins a championship, all that soft talk goes away. I promise you. If Cat, especially with the Knicks, if he wins a title with this team, ain't nobody ever call him Charmin soft again. I promise you. They wouldn't do it.
I think one of the things about the soft label is if you're a Knicks fan, say with some miles behind you, you know that Knicks fans need a hero to praise, right? And then a GOAT to beat up on, right? Legitimately, that's the way it's been since. So I've been a Knicks fan hardcore since I was about 5 years old, because in Jersey City, that's all we had, right? It's just what it is. So you're a Knicks fan, right? But even then, we're bashing guys like, man, Clyde is great, but then you're like, but Bradley don't play defense, man. All he do is run around and, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that, or Bernard King. Bernard King is great. The rest of the team is bums. I hate them bums, man. Wanted to get Bernard King some. Pat Ewing is this. Charles Smith, a guy that legit played center, was a starting center for another team, get traded to the Knicks during a seat right at the start of a season at 250 pounds, is asked to lose 25 pounds so he can play the 3 with Pat. in Oakley, and people hate Charles Smith to this day for one play. Right? It's just that's just how we've been as Knicks fans. We have to, in order for us to prop up one guy, we have to use another guy in order to prop up our main guy. We used to, y'all remember how we used to just absolutely late into Elfrid Payton? Remember Elfrid Payton missed a game because he had a baby, so he was out for personal reasons, and people were killing him on Twitter like, why is he taking a day off when we need him? And then when his mom came to his rescue, people started getting on his mom on Twitter too. Like, this is just what Knicks fans do. It's disgusting. Right? It's disgusting. But when you live in a bully environment, you're going to have bullies. That's just what it is. Like, they legit, the man had a baby, missed a game, Knicks fans killing him on Twitter, his mom coming like, y'all chill out. They start getting on her too. So you go from Elfrid Payton, Julius Randle, whoever is not the main guy, or whoever, they just pick a guy randomly and just bash that player relentlessly.
And then if they love you, Freezy,
it's usually a player that's not drafted.
You can shoot, you could build a brick house.
Right.
You could.
Y'all remember when Zach Randolph was here?
Yeah.
When Zach Randolph was here, this is now, mind you, Zach Randolph built a Hall of Fame kind of career, but it was after he left the Knicks. Right? Zach Randolph was here. He's killing Zach Randolph, right? Man, all he's doing, he can't do it. Bro, he leave New York and go put on somewhat of a Hall of Fame discussion career. I put it that way. Right? And so Knicks fans doing all it. Yankees fans do it. Right? Yankees fans used to be all over Danny Tartable, all over Bob Whitson.
Wow.
Right? They just pick a guy randomly and just get on him. And that's a New York thing. Trust me, because every other place that I lived, right? People embrace their stars. Like in Texas, when I was in Texas, bro, you couldn't say nothing about a Dallas Cowboy when I was in Texas. Nothing. You said something about a Dallas Cowboy and they legit would almost jump you. But here we just, because think about it. If we trade Cat, right, for whoever, Jaren Jackson and something. When Jaren Jackson gets here, guess what he should expect?
Yeah. Same treatment.
Every day. Relentless.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Before we get to the chat, can you win a championship with Cat?
I think so.
Yes.
And Brunson, by the way. In case they're wondering.
Well,
I think you can
win
it with them together.
Should I say as the second best player on the team?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Ajay?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I also think it's less of an issue because we have Bridges and OG behind them. Like that, there's not a steep drop off behind Cat. And by that I mean those guys can step up on any given game to help out. Though playoff basketball is much different than regular season basketball. And last season I saw Cat perform in the playoffs and I was impressed. I'm not saying he was perfect every game, but watching him play in the playoffs last year, I was good with it.
And he was a big reason why the Nuggets got knocked off by the Timberwolves the season before, and they were the defending champs at that time. So, or maybe they're not defending. I maybe get my years mixed up, but he was a big reason why they knocked off Jokic and the Nuggets in the playoffs that season. I know that.
Hey Jeff, did you know that Jokic averages 18 points a game against Cat for his career?
Yes, I did know that actually.
Yeah, 18. Cat averages 23 against Jokic? Like 23 and 12, and Jokic averages like 18 and 9 against Cat in all the games they played head to head.
Matter of fact, and when Cat play a good center, he usually does well against him. Right. It'd be the bums that he'd be struggling with.
And it's when he has to defend in space or do things like that. If he just has to bang with a big guy, He does fine. It's when he has to make decisions on rotations, or and move quickly with his feet. Like when you have snow skis for feet, it's sometimes tough to move laterally, I guess, because that's not his game. But if he
Mitch
just
is
has
the opposite. Mitch is out here with the what size does Mitch wear? Size 9? He's 7 foot with size 9.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, let's get to the
Steph, I'm gonna
Yeah.
step off after you do the super chat though, because I got a big up.
Okay.
Yeah, for real. This is like
Yeah.
amazing.
Appreciate the art man, formerly known as Steve, always rocking with us, always supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. Peace and love. Hope all is well with the family. Knicks are making progress. As they get more familiar, things will get more crisp. Cat is super important to the goal. Ask the Knicks, if the Wolves offered Randall for Towns now, would they do it? Yeah, Randall's playing well for them. Yeah, but that's a good question. I'm not sure I know the answer.
Yeah, salute to the art man, formerly known as Steve. Man, he always,
super generous, always
super generous, and he don't big up his own stuff. Man, he's an artist. He's a digital artist. I don't know if he has any, still doing commissions or anything like that. But if you need any digital artwick done,
I do. I want to
do my
logo
always
and a lot of
right. He always support us, man. I hope he, I wish we can support him a little bit more. To reciprocate that. I want to shout him out, man. He's a very, very good artist. He's dope. Yeah,
if you could DM me your can I find you on Twitter? So I definitely want to redo my logo and do some things.
Yeah, and I'll DM you his IG page. I'll find him on IG.
Okay.
Pretty good, man. So salute to everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate you.
See y'all next week, man. Go Knicks.
Let's go Giants, man. Let's go Giants. Amen, brother.
I haven't seen Freezy since we lost to the Bears. I'm not gonna lie. I remember that game well, Freezy. I didn't want to see you, but you here. Welcome to the show.
It's all in fun, bro. All in fun.
I know later. I'll holla at y'all. Peace.
I appreciate you.
Peace.
All right. It will be difficult winning a chip with a mediocre number 2. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We all have our opinions. Do you think though, having a OG and a Bridges makes a difference?
I think it's critical
in terms of not putting so much pressure on Cat, or do you feel like when it comes to the playoffs, your top 2 guys have to come through?
Well, I think it's critical because he makes up for some of the things that Brunson and Towns lack, right? If you have those 2 as 2 of your cornerstones, you need really prime defenders at the wing spots, and so that's where those 2 come in. And then if you can bolster that with another point of attack defender, so you can kind of push Bridges off ball, I think that's the ideal starting 5 combination for this team to thrive in the postseason.
Yeah. Well, first, I don't think he's a mediocre number 2, but
me either. But
Randall was a better fit. Cat cannot give you a mid-range bucket. I mean that. Okay.
We don't want mid-range buckets at all. Like, have you been watching the Knicks this year? All our coach wants to do is get in the paint at 3-pointers. He doesn't want to shoot mid-range shots. So getting rid mid-range buckets is obsolete for Mike Brown. I don't that argument doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yabusele took a 21-footer yesterday, and Mike Brown sent him immediately where he belonged, to the bench.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can argue, Randall was okay as a 3-point shooter, but you can argue that might have been one of the factors. There were many that prompted the trade, wanting to get someone in that can provide some spacing for Brunson. That question, the answer is that Cat took us to a championship game. Randall didn't do that. So yes, Cat is a better fit for the team's goal of a championship. You mean I think you mean the Eastern Conference Finals. There, definitely being used wrong. Cat was better under Tibbs, moving Cat to power forward and double bit. Listen. Can we stop with the double? Mitchell Robinson plays 3 minutes a game. Cat is getting ample time at center. Now, if you told me Cat and Mitchell Robinson that their minutes were mirrored every time Cat was in the game and he was playing predominantly at power forward, maybe we could talk about, his adjustment, even though he played the power forward in Minnesota. He's getting ample time at center. Does anyone on the panel believe that the fact that he's playing some power forward minutes this season is impacting his shooting or effectiveness?
I don't think so. I don't like him at power forward. I think
I don't like him at power forward either.
When he's at the 5. I'll be honest with you about that. I think that he gets their most advantages when he plays the 5 spot. But he gets to play the 5 plenty. He's just not knocking down shots right now, and he will.
Yeah. Basically.
Is the team Cat may be better at the 5, and I agree with that. Is the team better with Cat at the 5? And I'm talking about just the factoring in the defense as factoring in the defense as well. If Cat was our full-time center and Mitch was just playing behind him,
I think that's how they should do it. Actually, that to me, that's the ideal. If I would, get Nick Yak, good stat by the way. Nick Yak said they're playing together for 7 minutes. I would cut those 7 minutes out. If Cat's going to play 33, let Mitch play 15. That's 48, and we're done. That's how I would do it. I don't like them particularly well together on the floor at all. I don't think that's a very synergistic combination. Maybe the lineup data says differently, and if it does, I'll have to revisit it. But just for the eye test, the double big lineup is not one of my favorites that we've trotted out in the first 14 games of the season.
Right. Okay.
Thoughts, Freezy? Do you think we could? But this is the thing, though, that the idea is to ramp Mitchell Robinson's, minutes, up some. So they might be playing more minutes together. Are you a fan, Freezy, of playing Mitch with Cat or behind him?
Mitch is elite at a thing, right? Mitch is elite at a thing, right? Like there are certain things that we ask big NBA players to do that they can't do, but Mitch can do it easily, right? It's just certain stuff we ask a big to think about what you ask Mitch to do, right? You ask Mitch Robinson to protect the rim, offensive rebound, and switch with wings defensively, regardless who the threatening offensive wing is, right? Mitch is elite at that. It's comparable to Cat being a rebounder and a three-point shooter and a borderline great passer. You ask Mitchell Robinson on defense to do some of the same stuff in terms of diversified skill set. Protect the rim, rebound offensively at an amazing rate, right? And switch on defense. We're asking him to do stuff that Dwight Howard and Ben Wallace didn't do, right? And I know people are going to say, "Oh no, he said Dwight Howard 5-time defensive." Yeah, I know. They didn't play in this era where it's bombs away from 3, and you have elite wing play, right? We asked Mitch to protect the rim, and then you're like, okay, he's going to switch with Mikal Bridges to pick up Bridges, man, just to keep the defense straight. Like we ask him to do this. My only knock on Mitch is when you exert so much effort, right? When you exert so much effort every time you're on the floor, it's like you cut your own minutes. Like you don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? You don't know how to save gas in a gas tank. And so Because like yesterday, they extended Mitchell Robinson's minutes, and he got worse. Yesterday, Mitch got worse the longer he played. And it's no knock on him, but that man hadn't played 21 minutes in an NBA game since when? I can't remember.
Right. Your preference, though, with or behind?
They got to play together. Mitch, he's not a bench player.
Okay.
In my mind, you can't roll out Brunson, whose defense is good this year, right? Brunson's defense is good. You can't roll him out or you can't roll Cat and Brunson out and then expect OG and Bridges to just, make up for everything. You just can't. Right? Unless you're putting another two-way player on the floor. Like, unless you're putting him out there with, I don't know, like
Easton at the 4.
Or
some two-way power.
Y'all know I don't believe in 4s, right? So that's what, like, I don't know. Like, so it's because but yes, elite defender on the floor with them. So
But do you not think that him playing specifically at the 5, that it'll be a net positive, that the offense would be that great that it would be a net positive? Or do you feel that the defense would be so terrible that I don't care how elite the offense is, it's not going to be able to make up for it?
Cat is struggling now with Mitchell Robinson sitting out games. Right?
He is, but do you think that's going to be long term though? He is struggling.
He's struggling right now with Mitch and without Mitch. And to be honest with you, while I do not like Cat not playing center, I think Cat is a Hall of Fame level center, right? Karl Anthony Towns has issues at the rim. Like, guys shouldn't get to the rim and Cat not even put a hand up. Can you at least be tall? If you're not going to block the shot, can you just be tall? He just won't do that because he's got this issue of getting stupid fouls, right? And I believe in Cat, right? But as a content creator, I have to tell the truth on what I see, right? And so when I see Cat, I see a 7-footer that's amazing offensively. Defensively, there are moments of pause. Like, why won't you just put a hand up? Because he'll see a guy come towards him, see them, the guy goes into a shooting motion, he'll turn around and get ready to rebound. Cat, you're not even gonna contest this. Right? So when it comes to, would I rather see Mitch and Cat play that style like what Geoff was alluding to? Maybe at the close of games where you do offense, defense. But in terms of that being a rotation thing, I say play them together and let them figure it out. That's my thing to it. I would, if I can offer a midway thing, right? I would like to see Karl Anthony Towns be the ball handler taking a Mitchell Robinson screen. Because I know that if Mitch cuts hard and is open, Cat's going to pass him the ball because Cat is an experienced. Now, that's not his preference.
Right.
But Cat is an experienced role. Like, he knows what it's like to cut through the wash. And if he recognizes that Mitch cut through the wash, he's going to pass that ball up to Mitch up high. And if they collapse, Cat is more than capable of finding the open man, even if he doesn't get the assist, even if it's a swing situation to the open man.
Yeah, I mean they did double big pick and rolls in Minnesota, and he was very effective in hitting Gobert as the role guy. I think the Knicks are better offensively with Cat at 5. Last year, the Knicks were not a net positive, though, meaning the defense suffered so much that they just weren't a net positive. Could that be different under Mike Brown schematically? Maybe. But again, it's only 7 minutes if Nick Yak is correct that they're sharing, but as the court together, but as time goes on, it's going to be more and more and more. It's going to be interesting to see that dynamic between the offense and defense, because when Mitch is in the game, the offense is okay. Obviously it's not going to flow as well as if you have, 5, offensive players out there. But then when Cat is at the 5, the defense is not, is not great. So it's going to be on Mike Brown to kind of figure out, and he's doing a good job so far. When we need those lineups, and that's what happens when you have players in key positions that are not two-way players.
Right.
I do think Mitch has struggled defensively. I don't think he's the defensive juggernaut we remember, but I think it's coming. Right? I think it's coming. I think as far as offensive rebounds, he's been on point. I think in terms of protecting the rim, I don't know what the advanced stats say, but to the eye test, he is being challenged, a lot. But again, I have to get into the on-off numbers where the Knicks defensively when Mitch is on the floor, when he's not on the floor. And even if it's not great right now, you have to assume the more he plays, the better he'll be. It's just like Cat shot. Like, you don't just stop learning how to shoot. Same thing with Mitchell Robinson. You don't just stop becoming a good rim protector. And to Freezy's point, and we saw this in the playoffs as well. But again, it was because he had missed so many games. The more he played, the more the motor, dived down a little bit. But to me, that's to be expected for any player. Like, I think particularly at as high a level as Mitchell Robinson plays energetically, it's hard to maintain that if now you're playing 20 minutes, 23 minutes, 25 minutes. I mean, is that the expectation he's going to play at that level for the entire 25 minutes?
It's interesting. So,
yeah, I mean, he has to build up to it. Anything else on Cat before we move into the next question, which was actually inspired by my short telephone conversation today with Freezy?
Let's go.
All right, shout out to the chat. We appreciate everybody. All right. The Knicks are off to an uneven start, near perfect at home, near a mess on the road. We got
a mess on the road, not near a mess. Stay there. Plenty of mess on the road.
Yeah, we got our first win. It was a raggedy one, but it
was Raggedy Ann and Andy. It was
Andy. That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I haven't been seeing a lot of this, but apparently Freezy has, where the fan base or some of the fan base maybe is a little down on the Knicks. Maybe expectations are lower, maybe questioning whether the Knicks are really championship contenders. The question I have is, do you see what's going on now over these first 14 games just a part of the process? Or are you questioning whether or not this team is a championship contender?
Can I take this one first?
Yes, go ahead, Jeff.
So I want to put these first 14 games in perspective a little bit. How many teams have the Knicks lost to that have a losing record right now? 0.
Right.
Not one team that we've lost to has a losing record. We have wins over Cleveland and Boston and Minnesota. So we've beaten some
and
good
Chicago and Miami.
Chicago in our 9 games. I'm pretty sure, double check me on the Freezy may know this better than I do, but I think 9-5 is the best 14 game start that we've had in the past 30 years.
I think
Correct
so.
me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that number is accurate.
I think so.
The best 14 game start that we've had in 30 years. Our offense isn't clicking like it could potentially yet. Both Brunson and Bridges are shooting well below their career averages from both the 3-point range and the field in general. Their effective field goal percentages are down. We've had injuries to OG Anunoby. Brunson's missed a couple of games, and we're like 3rd seed in the East right now. So why is the sky falling? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is literally the best start to a season that we've had in 3 decades, and we're not even performing optimally right now. Like, there's plenty of room to get better. And so, but instead of celebrating, it's like we're at a funeral. Like, instead of saying that we're in a good place, it feels like we're 5-9 or 4-12. Like, could we be a little bit better? Yeah, but look, we've played a lot of tough teams. We've made our mistakes. We're not elite defensively by any stretch of the imagination, but we're in this learning phase, and we're winning as we're learning early on in the season. And so, it's a situation to me. Like, last year we were 5-6, like literally 5-6. So, to be 9-5 and 14 games is clearly better than last season. And the sky was more falling last year, certainly, than it was this year. And I don't think we've played like a complete skate schedule. It's not like every win we have is against Brooklyn, Washington, Indiana. Like, so, and even if that were the case, it doesn't matter really who you beat. It's that you stockpile wins. Like we saw last year, you can be 0-12 against the top 3 teams in the East during the regular season and then beat the Celtics in the playoffs, right? And so, I'm kind of confused as to where. I mean, I guess maybe we should be 13-2 like the Pistons, or who are on an incredible run right now, or the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are defending champs. I mean, maybe we should be on that level already, but we're learning a new system. We're integrating new players. We've had injuries, and we're still 9-5. We're in a good place. We have to keep going. We have to keep building. We have to keep getting better. And if we backslide, then maybe some of those things are real. But for right now, I'm not sure that you could ask for a much better start than the one that we've had, looking realistically at what we've done and what we've been through. Maybe one game here or there, if you want to argue the Orlando game or the second Miami game, or maybe the first Miami game, I don't know. But, I think it goes back and forth. But I think if you just look at our resume, what we've done so far, what our net rating is, and net rating, folks, is a solid, as good an indicator as you're going to get as to how good a team is their net rating. It's the best predictor of teams that go far in the playoffs by far. And we are in the top of the league, not near the top of the league. And I think we're second behind Detroit in the Eastern Conference in net rating so far. So, is it perfect? By no means. Are there things that we need to work on? Absolutely, 100%. Are the Knicks in a good place right now? Absolutely, guys. Celebrate and be joyful about a team that's actually very good and is playing pretty well right now, despite last night's game. Like, I admit, last night's game was, but I'm just saying overall.
Yeah, I get you. Freezy, what have you been hearing? Like I said, I haven't really felt that the fan base was restless, but what have you been experiencing on Blanche Tears?
Hey, the same thing here. Cat is soft. Mitch is always hurt. Why is Josh Hart hurt to start the season? He a crybaby because he's not a starter, right? All the same thing, all the same stuff that's going around. It's the opposite of what Geoff said, basically. And so so people have been hitting me up all the time, like wanting to have the conversations like, hey man, is it time to trade Deuce? Relax, bro. Calm down. Like, legit. Indiana stumbled out of the block last year and they made the NBA finals. Right. The legit Indiana, a team, a rival. We witnessed it. We saw when they were like in play-in range, like, man, Indiana might not make the play-in. And we saw that all the way through to where they beat us in the Eastern Conference Finals and went to the finals and lost in Game 7. and we have a more talented roster, right? And legit, the roster we have right now is more talented than the roster they had last year. They had a dude out there with a mustache, right? Legit, we didn't even know who this dude was. Who was this guy? Like, bro, you got a mustache? Like, what is this? Right? So yeah. So even though, but here's the thing. What I've noticed with Knicks fans and my people, these are my people. I'm with them, right? Is if we don't win on our terms, we're going to complain out loud. Period. So if we were expecting to be 13-1 right now, so that we could complain about that one loss we had. That's basically where people are. Queen B. They're mad at Cat. Cat soft. His shooting is off. Mitchell Robinson should be playing more minutes. What is Mike Brown doing? What else? The Knicks need a backup point guard. So when Jalen Brunson leave the floor, the offense can stay intact. What else? What else have we heard? The Knicks can't win big games. What else? What else have we heard? Yabusele is out of shape. Or I'm sorry, I keep saying Yabusele, but Yabusele is out of shape, right? All of that, I think these talking points are only talking points because championship teams, and this is, so I'm gonna say this to the chat because I've been saying it for a while, but I don't think people understand. Championship teams level teams have less drama. They just do, because they don't have the wild OD missing piece. Like, we're complaining about talented players being miscast in their role. We're not complaining about talent, though, right? Like, we're complaining about little stuff, like the wine menu. Like, we're great, man. They brought up the wine menu on paper. They didn't even have the wine menu on a tablet, right? Like, what do we? I mean, this is what we're complaining about. Like, legit, everything that we asked for. Somebody said this. I don't know if it was. I think somebody here said it. Like, or I heard it today. The Knicks complain about everything. Like, there was a time when we were like, "Oh man, they clogged the paint. The Knicks need a stretch big." Now the stretch big is here, and we're complaining about the stretch big, right? We're complaining, man, this offense dribble. And now we're running this high-paced offense where we're taking 43 threes a game, and we're complaining about that. This whole thing just needs time. Remember, Josh Hart didn't play preseason. He was hurt. He had a boo-boo, right? He was out for a while. I don't believe it. I think he was protesting because he wasn't the starter, but that's me speculating, right? Right? You got Cat get with the grade 2 quad strain coming out of camp, like all these different things. And we just need some time to gel. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, does that give you something to talk about? No, but people want something to talk about, though.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. In my opinion, there's still championship. There's nothing I've seen that would make me think otherwise. Ajay, anything to add? I do have a follow-up question.
You're muted, Ajay.
I didn't mute myself. What the hell happened?
I hope you're not getting a condition because nobody muted you.
I know what happened. The tablet, I got the game on a tablet, and it was sliding off, and I think it hit the mute button. Like,
okay.
Yeah, but the only thing I'm worried about with the Knicks right now, in terms of, like, I'm not worried about the offense. I'm worried about the defense a little bit. But again, it's still early in the season. We're still learning a new system. We have a new coach. I'm not pushing. I'm not hitting the panic button right now.
Right.
But it's just things that we have to keep in mind, that as the season goes on, as the season progress, you want to see how the defense, how they said there are certain things they're doing on defense that are very encouraging. Like, I pointed out to you, Queen, the other day. I said, you notice that zone defense that we haven't seen here in a million years, like how effective that was the other day. So there are little things that are happening on defense that it's gradually happening. It's not going to happen overnight, but I do want to see the defense becoming better during the course of the season. Of course, we have tremendous firepower. I'm not worried about that. That's my only concern. But like I said, I'm not panicking. It's just a concern. We only, a few games in. We're gonna get better, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, we are still a contender. Yes.
Okay, Lee, appreciate
Lee?
you joining us. We were just moving on to the next question, but if you wanted to weigh in, some fans are a little down on the Knicks for this uneven start, so to speak. Really good at home, not great on the road. And some fans are questioning. I know we had someone in here. He's not here today, so I'm not going to call him out. Why are you calling this a championship contender team? Anything you've seen thus far that would make you question whether or not this is a championship contending team?
I had just gotten home from running some errands, turned on YouTube, DopeSoulSports. I know the show is on the day. Saw 4 of my favorite people, and it's like, let me fire up the pod. I want to hop on here and talk Knicks with my people. I am based in Dallas, so I was at the game last night. Shout out Dwight Powell for hooking my pops up, and I have some tickets for my dad's birthday. And the way that I look at this team is the way that I look at the people within my peripheral. Both I'm at the time show, my best friends, my family, is that we're all conflicted people with good and bad traits. And the ones that I choose to have in my life, the Knicks are part of that orbit as well. So I accept that there are going to be flaws. I accept there's going to be negativity. There's going to be things that need to be worked on. There are things that need to be worked on. It will never be fixed. And I had to accept those as absolutes. And I'm okay with that. At the end of the day, we have something that maybe 5 other teams in the entire NBA have, which is a superstar 1A, in my opinion, with Jalen Brunson. And then we got 3 guys on any given night to beat the 2. We might go into a 7-game series against, hypothetically, let's say Detroit, and Karl-Anthony Towns is awful. He shoots civil rights numbers. He's only good as a rebounder. He's a constant liability at the rim. Maybe he's shooting 30% from 3. But the next series, maybe to say, hypothetically, Boston or Cleveland, he's unbelievable. We saw that in the run to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. There's going to be ebbs and flows in life as it is in sports. So to me, a game sample size of 1 or 10 or 30, it has no difference bearing on me based on how happy or sad I am. I tend to stay pretty balanced because I survived both the Isaiah Thomas era and the Phil Jackson era. If you want to go a little bit further, the Steve Mills era. So after those 3 eras, I have gained that skin, and I'm here just for the postseason. The regular season doesn't really dictate my emotional stability.
Yeah, I agree with that. Or how I feel about this team's chances. That being said, do you feel as a championship contending team that this team has the right pieces and it's just a matter of chemistry? Or do you feel that they could use another piece here or there?
All champions are flawed, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
The Nuggets, when they won, had no rim protection. OKC has very little size on the bench. Only Kendrick Williams was over 6'5", and everyone talks about how long and lengthy and stretched they are. They're not really. They're actually a very small team. So is Indiana Pacers.
And not a good rebounding team either, or at least last year they weren't.
Exactly. They also don't have any real muscle or enforcers on that team either. Neither does Indiana. Indiana only had 1 player over the height of 6'5" on their bench, which was Obi Toppin, someone we're very familiar with. So every team has flaws, even the ones that make the finals, even the ones that win championships. Not everyone can be the San Antonio Spurs of the early 2010s or the Miami Heatles or the Golden State Death lineup. Many times you have teams that are flawed. Dallas Mavericks won without Caron Butler being healthy. The Toronto Raptors won without OG Anunoby being healthy. Milwaukee Bucks won without Dante DiVincenzo being healthy. There's always anomalies that happen. I think at the core of this team, we have pieces to where someone can go down, someone can step up. Deuce was off last night. Clarkson was on. It's going to happen. So to me, again, I am not concerned. I think we have all of the pieces because we have a coach who has been in the finals and has been on the bench of championship level teams. So he knows not just what it takes in game, what needs to be said after a loss, what needs to be said in the locker room, and what needs to be said in private behind closed doors, person at coach. And then we have Jalen Brunson. To me, he's a bona fide closer, along with a lot of guys who could make all defensive teams, all-star teams, Man of the Year award, most improved. I like our chances against a very, very weak East and a very compromised West.
Geoff, right pieces, just a matter of chemistry, or can you?
I wouldn't mind another piece. Like I'm not gonna, like it wouldn't hurt my feelings to have a wing with some size that we could bring off the bench and do some damage. Although, you know, Diawara, if his 2-minute sample size it's any indication, might be that guy. Who knows? But actually, I've been really impressed with Jordan Clarkson. He's not my favorite player. Everybody on the panel knows that. But I
remind us every game, every show, Geoff.
Well, it is what it is. But look, I'm singing his praise. I'm giving him flowers. I think he's fit in terrifically. I think he's done a good job. Adjei has hurt his knees when he jumped off the Yabusele bandwagon last night, but I actually think that he's starting to play a little bit better as well. And if he ever decides to make a shot, which would be a novel idea, I think he becomes a useful piece. I like what Deuce McBride is. I think Landry Shamet is having a phenomenal season. I think that he's been really, the great glue guy. We put him in the starting lineup and he's excelled. He's bulldog on defense as far as a point of attack. Made some really clutch 3-pointers last night to get us the win. Didn't look so great at the free throw line during crunch time, but that's another story. Nobody else did either, so I don't know that we can, fire him for that. But I think Shamet's been really good, and he's shown that he's a really good rotation piece, and I think that's good for Deuce McBride because that means that Deuce has to play better as well to maintain his minutes, and so a lot of these guys can push each other. And then, there's an X factor too that I don't really want to talk about because I think you have it saved for the end of the show. So I'll wait on that one. But I'll just say that I would love another piece. A big man wouldn't be so bad either, like a traditional defensive four. Cover your ears, Freezy. I know that's not your thing, but it might be nice to have that. But the Knicks have a lot of talent and a lot of depth and a lot of guys who don't even get to play who might get to play on some other rosters. So, could we use another piece? I'm greedy. I will always say yes when that's the question, but we have a lot more here than I thought we had, or at least it seems that way after 14 games than it did to me as we entered training camp.
Freezy, I'm going to ask you this. You can answer that question, but basically, do the Knicks have the pieces? It's just a matter of chemistry, blah, 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 blah. We've played 2 games without Jalen Brunson. Have the 2 games without him made you more comfortable with the guards playing behind him in the event he gets in foul trouble, in the event he, misses games? Or does those two games have you more concerned about the guard play behind Brunson? And I'm talking particularly in the playoffs, which is a lot different than the regular season.
Yes. I feel like that question has so many layers. Lee, salute. What's good, bro?
My man.
How you been, brother?
I'd love
man, ain't seen you in a minute, bro.
I know, man. I saw you on the show and I had to hop on, bro.
You looking good. You looking refreshed.
Thank you, man. I lost a little weight, feeling pretty good. That a fresh mullet haircut. You know what I mean? So
you got a haircut?
It all fell out when he was watching the Knick game courtside. He didn't get a haircut. That was from doing this all night when we were missing.
Olympian Towns fouls had me ripping my hair out for sure.
I was gonna say, bro, you got a haircut, bro. You in a relationship or something? What's happening?
In a relationship with myself, that's why I know. No doubt.
So to Queen Bee's question, which absolutely is unfair that she asked me this question, y'all. You see, this is borderline like bullying right here, right? She asked me if I feel confident, what my confidence level basically when Jalen Brunson goes out and the other guys have to step in for a megastar, right? That's what I heard. Like, am I comfortable with situational and rotation players stepping in for a megastar in a short spurt, right? It's not a loaded question. It's not like she didn't ask me Jalen Brunson hit the number and retired from basketball, right? That's not what she's asking me. She's asking me if this guy, gets the flu and is out 2 or 3 games, do I feel comfortable with his traditional backups carrying the load until he gets back, right? So the answer to that is yes and no, right? The answer to it is this. Yes, I feel like during the course of a game, they can hold it down and we can still look like the Knicks, right? The no part is there aren't many closers in the NBA, right? There are a handful of closers, right? There's Jalen Brunson and a few other guys where at the end of a game, whether you're up 5 or down 5, they are going to manage the game on the floor to their advantage, right? Jalen Brunson does that. Will Deuce McBride do that? No, he won't, right? He's not a closer. You saw the shot he threw up last night. It was a half hook, half floater with the wrong hand going away from the rim, right? He's not that guy, right? Now, the thing is, with Brunson out, do you expect Cat to be that guy? No, not in today's NBA. You need a ball handler to be the closer, because if they show you flash and exotic defense, like, what is your ball handling center going to do? Play point guard? No. So yes, for the first 44 minutes of a game, 4 minutes and under, I don't feel confident. I don't feel confident in Clarkson. Neither does Mike Brown, by the way, because he didn't play Clarkson in that spot, right? I don't trust Deuce. You saw the result from what Deuce did, right? And Landry Shamet is not, while he gets buckets, he's an assisted bucket getter, like shooting guards of the past, like Kevin Martin, right? That's the type of scorer he is. So you have to orchestrate something for him to execute. Kind of like in NASCAR, where the whole crew fixes the car so that the driver can race on race day, right? So
yeah,
does that mean, so I said all that to say this. I'm confident in those guys, and I think Mike Brown would figure it out from situation to situation, but I'm not confident that if this thing is prolonged, that you can keep playing the shell game, right? So if this thing gets to like 5 games or 10 games, I think you'll have to do like an overhaul, clean beat. So that's my long answer and short form answer at the same time, dodging the question. So.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And I was particularly focused on the, on the playoffs, more so than the regular season. And I'll give Ajay a crack at it, but I think everybody here knows how I feel about this. I feel like when you have an opportunity as a front office, as much as you can, try to mitigate risk. And, not having another point guard, floor general, whatever you want to call it, good decision making on this team in the event. I'm talking about in the playoffs. Brunson is in foul trouble. He can't go. I just think it's a major weakness on this team. And I love what Mikal Bridges is doing as a secondary ball handler. But I also saw a struggle in the playoffs as well, trying, and that could be schemes too. Maybe the schemes will be better. To me, I just feel that's just something that I would like the Knicks to address if they can. But Ajay, I know you haven't had an opportunity to speak. Yeah. Do you feel like we have all the pieces right now and we don't really need anything else? It's just a matter of chemistry.
Listen, just like Geoff said, you could always improve. You could always get better. But I don't think what we have is like we can't win with what we have. We can win with what we have. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, if an opportunity come in, to improve the team, the front office. And I'm sure the front office, they're constantly looking at what can they do to improve the team and to stay, within the boundaries of what the money allows them to do, right? And then, you were talking about, the point guard situation. I mean, sometimes a lot of teams won championship without a true point guard.
It don't have to be a decision maker behind. What do you mean one without even having? You mean a backup point guard or a point guard? Period.
No, without having a true point guard, like or even a backup. I don't know. I mean, you can't. It's probably not even fair to make comparisons like this, right? So when you look at OKC, right? Shea always he has the ball in his hand like 80% of the time, right? I don't think he's a great distributor. Like somehow, like if you watch the games, when he gets the ball, man, he doesn't let go until he really has to. Granted, he's a great scorer. He scores most of the time. But when he's in a jam, like he's in a jam.
Objection, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Freezy.
I feel, and this is why the Knicks are going to win the championship this year. I feel like championship level teams find a way to exploit loopholes in the way the game is played in that current moment that you're in. Like the reach and teach era that we're in. Like if you invade an offensive player's space, the ref blow the whistle. SGA exploited that, bro. Like he is not, when you look at him, he's not blowing by people. He's not jumping over people. He's not shooting the three at some record rate. He is the king of exploiting a loophole in a rule, right? And for that reason, I think the Knicks are going to win the championship, right? The Knicks will win a championship because the Knicks will exploit this three-point era that we're in, right? Plenty of teams shoot a lot of threes. I know that, right? I know that. There may be some nights where you see teams shoot 90 three-pointers, and it's disgusting to look at, right? But the Knicks have a thing going for them that no other team has, right? OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are basically NBA leaders from certain spots on the floor from three, right? And if you couple that with Karl Anthony Towns getting back to what his career average is from three, somewhere like 40, 41%, 40 and a half, whatever. Yeah, we know what the line is for him.
40.
And Jalen Brunson is not shooting his best either from three. Jalen Brunson, I think, has just gotten to 37% when we expect him to be at 40, 41% from three, right? On high volume, by the way, is what I'm talking about. So when you put all four of these three-point shooters together, so while OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are not going to be elite three-point shooters, right? They're not going to go around screens. They're not going to be Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. But if you allow them to get to their spot on the floor, they are Klay Thompson, Steph Curry type. I think one guy is like at 46% from three from the corner, and like the other guy's like 44%. I saw the number a couple of days ago, so I don't know where it's at exactly now. But if you couple that with Brunson and Cat, at any given point, you can have four guys on the floor that shoot 40% from somewhere on the floor. And if the Knicks can exploit that loophole or that moment in NBA, wherever we are, right? Whatever era this, like how the Pistons exploited the bump on defense rule, where every time somebody starts their dribble, they start bumping guys off their spot. The Pistons exploited that, right? Now guys can't get their shot up because they're off balance. And all of a sudden, Detroit looks like a dynamo on defense. Well, they exploited something. They're not going to blow the whistle. We're going to keep doing it, right? SGA won the MVP and an NBA championship just by every time a defender invades a space, he flops, does something crazy, and the refs blow the whistle. So now it's hard to defend. I think this era here, the three-point era, is where the Knicks will win their championship. Now, I know Queen Bee is like, why you always come on the show, Uncle Freezy, and say something wild and crazy? I'm just a wild and crazy guy. So wait a minute, y'all didn't get the Saturday Night Live reference?
I did.
Steve
Martin, man.
Okay, all right.
I got you.
So that's where I think we are now. When you couple that what I just said, along with a guy, one of those guys where you could just take one out and plug one in. Some nights it'll be Landry Shamet that might be the hot 3-point shooter that keeps the floor balanced. Some nights it may be Deuce, right? But if you keep this in a rotate, like the Knicks legitimately at times can have 6 guys that can shoot the 3 at a high clip, right? And so in my mind, when I've watched eras, like I watched the low post era of the Boston Celtics with Bird and McHale and Parrish, they exploited the thing to championships. The Showtime Lakers, they exploited a thing to the championship. The kick out through the post up kick out for 3 Houston Rockets, they exploited the thing. The Chicago Bulls in a triangle where you can't double team anyone, they exploited the thing. And I think this may be the thing that the Knicks can exploit for this year and the next couple years, where they look like the team that can't be beat because they exploit a thing. So yes, that's my thing. My bad, Ajay.
I was about to say, let's get back to.
I got to take a break. I talk so much. I got to go. Yo, you ever made your own self laugh? You ever laughed at yourself?
It's fine. Ajay?
No, that's fine. You know, whoever's next, Lee, maybe.
No.
You didn't get a chance to say much, bro.
Do we have the right pieces?
I think we, like I said, I agreed with Geoff. I think we have the pieces to win if we can improve. You know, the front office is always looking to improve the team. If something comes along, they're gonna pull the trigger and make a trade. I would like to see us, I like power forwards, traditional power forwards. I would like us to get somebody that could actually be, like a power forward, but you know what,
is that for guys like behind, like coming in behind like OG and Cat and just
for size and like an enforcer power forward. Listen, or somebody can score. But listen, I was expecting Yabusele to be better. I'm not to say that he's not gonna be better, but right now he's not providing what I saw him do in Philly last season. I know it's a different team, different situation. Maybe it's taking him time to adjust, but based on what I saw last year, I was really excited when we got him because I thought we was going to be able to get a decent and consistent production out of him. I'm not seeing it so far this season, and I'm hoping he gets to that Philly Yabu shape that we saw last season, because that would be like super helpful to us.
Yeah, I hope the Knicks didn't bite on that one good year he had. Remember, he was out of the league for a while. I hope they didn't bite on that one. We did. He was on the upswing, and it was an outlier, right?
Yeah,
we shall see. Geoff, do you want to add, or if you wanted to add anything?
No, I'm good. I just, it's not. There's not a magic formula to winning a title. That's the thing. We make our guesses that this combination will work and this combination won't work or whatever. And you never really know until the playoffs come, right? Because teams that you don't necessarily expect, like I don't think anybody the year that Milwaukee won was like, yeah, that team's winning the championship for sure. Or the Lakers in the bubble, right? They nobody had them as the favorites, and that team was never really contenders again after that, right? And so maybe that was just a flash in the pan, right place, right time. I mean, and I think it was Freezy used the example of maybe it was Lee who used the example of the Indiana Pacers last year, and they weren't even 9-5, like they were literally below 500,
right?
35 games into the season, which and so and then after that point, I think they got healthy, and when they got healthy, they just took off. And from that point forward, I think game 36 or so on, they played as well as anybody in the league because they figured it out, you know. And part of that was they got their defense together. They had their, they had their players. And you got to remember right now, not only are they down Tyrese Halliburton, but I don't think TJ McConnell is playing either. So they literally have no point guard over there. And that's why they're having a miserable start. God bless them. I hope it continues. But, I hate the Pacers. I just do. But back to the Knicks, though, I think that we're still in our growing pains phase, right? We're still figuring things out. And when you're in the midst of growing pains, it looks ugly a lot of times, right? People are really down on last night's win. Last night's win, may I remind you, it was a win.
That is insane.
It was the first time in NBA history that a team missed 15 free throws and shot below 30% from three and won the game. First time it's ever happened in regulation in an NBA game. So the Knicks are record setters after 14 games. Only the Knicks can win a game like that.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to us, right? Towns is going to be better. Brunson, we haven't seen close to the best of what he could be. We've seen Captain Clutch for multiple years. We haven't seen that player yet, in my opinion, in this season. Like, he's had a couple of decent performances, but I don't think he's been up to the standard and the level that we've seen him get to, where in the playoffs he's like 40-point game machine, right? And with high assist numbers and low turnovers and the whole bit, with excellent efficient percentages. So there's a lot of meat that's left on the bone, and don't let Yabusele start to make a shot more than
don't let Yabusele lose 15 pounds.
Queen, you said he lost weight, Queen. That's what you said this morning.
I said, I said, I'm sorry, Queen. I'm gonna just say this and shut up. I promise. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I think Yabusele was injured, right? I think he was injured. You could tell his natural instinct stuff has been off. Like, you legit don't play that much basketball and then come in that type of shape in less than 5 weeks. I don't know if there was, and I don't use injury for everything, right? You know, I'm the street clothes guy. I'm like, I don't care if you hurt, get out there, right? Like, I go to work sick personally, right? Like, that's not my thing. I'm not, you ain't gonna catch me in street clothes. But when it comes to like certain stuff, when you watch, you can just see certain things. Like the dude had a measure of explosive athleticism, like not like LeBron, right? But he's a sneaky, explosive guy. But when you watch him now, he's a smooth, fluid mover, right? So how do you go from, who did he dunk on? And he dunked on somebody this summer, right? Like, he went from being like the explosive guy to now he's not. I think there's something there.
And he played international ball over the summer, so it's not like, he wasn't playing.
Those New York restaurants are just flat better than Philly. Sorry, DX Relish.
Bro, you ever had food in Texas, bro?
I live in Texas. What do you mean? I eat food in Texas every day. It's
bragging, bro. Like, what are you talking about? You ever been to a barbecue place, bro? I'm in South Carolina, right? I'm jealous of Texas barbecue, bro.
It's the best.
Like, legit. No knock on New York, but your Yabusele thing, I think he's going to come around. I think Landry Shamet has already made it. He's been here long enough, right? So, Queen B, to the question that you were asking, I don't think the Knicks need to make a move or trade for anyone. I think chemistry and synergy should be the thing, because if you are in that group that think the Knicks are struggling right now with a new coach, then why would you bring somebody in that's going to struggle with a new coach and a new team, and then they're going to have to wrap their thing around while the other guys are trying to figure out Mike Brown, while Mike Brown is trying to figure out these cast of guys. Meanwhile, the goal is to make a deep run in the championship.
I think that's always a question. That's always a question when you considering bringing in a new guy. Is it worth the chemistry issues, at least initially? That's always, I believe, a question for a coach or a front office. I think I just have PTSD of getting to the playoffs and the team falling apart when Brunson is not on the floor. Yeah. I'm not talking about the regular season. I'm talking about in the in
the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
I've been
The PTSD is my thing, Queen. You're supposed to be the hopeful and helpful one. I'm the one who's always gloom and doom and PTSD.
Right.
Get off my lawn.
PTSD stands for anyway? Is that like pickles, tomatoes, sausage?
Yo.
Is that what that is? PTSD for all the big bags. If you're not a big bag, that's not a reference to you. So.
There's been 2 points I've been biting my tongue on. I want to respond to.
Sure, absolutely.
First one is my main man, Geoff. How you doing, Geoff? Man, great to see you, my brother.
Salute, man.
Geoff, man. Jeff's one of my favorite people. To his point on making a trade and being optimistic or desirable for something to happen, we don't have much to trade. If you were to get rid of a Hart or you get rid of even a Deuce, 2 guys that have severe flaws in multiple areas of a game and then severe complements in other areas of a game, you're giving up pieces of your identity and flow, synergy, which matters when you see those type of moves being made, even if they're bench pieces, it can affect the team's contention status. We really only have Colette, Dadier, and Yabusele, who are guys who are not on veteran minimum contracts that cannot be aggregated in a trade. Those are really the only 3 pieces. What can that get? What did OKC? The last 2 years, they've made 1 trade. That was Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. They haven't been making a whole lot of moves. When you're
that's a good one. If we can get a Caruso,
but we don't have a Giddey. That's my point. We don't have a Giddey to give up in order to get that.
Right.
And when you're a contender, other teams are not trying to help you become even a better contender. So our options for expansion and adding other pieces are very, very slim unless we're now offering Wizards pick, swaps, 2023 or whatever type picks. And to me, I think the team we have in place is good enough. To my second point, Queen, in terms of teams that don't have backup point guards, I don't see it as that big of an issue because I'm looking at the last 5 champions: OKC, Boston, Denver, Golden State, Milwaukee. You can make a case that none of those had a true backup table setter. Not any of them. The Warriors had Gary Payton Jr. and Jordan Poole. Both players, I would say Payton Jr. is more like Deuce and Poole is very much like Clarkson. Neither are a Brogdon type, cerebral table setting playmaker. They're guys that took their own shot first above others. That's what our roster construction mirrors as well. I think we are right in line. Depth as OKC last year. We have 2 bigs that play very different styles of basketball. We have 1 really good guard, and we have a lot of guys that are 2-way potential. We don't have an SGA. I'll make that concession, but I think we have really good depth, and OKC doesn't have a Bridges. They also don't have an OG Anunoby. Dort's very undersized, can't guard 3s, 4s, and 5s. So to me, the makeup of this roster is, to me, enough to win a championship. We just need guys to play at their level, where they should be, and that involves Deuce McBride's in that conversation, Karl-Anthony Towns in that conversation, right now Jalen Brunson in that conversation, and then go on down the bench to the rest of the end of the bench guys. But I think we have enough, and I think the opportunities to improve are very, very slim.
Yeah, I hear you. I hope you're right. I see the ball handling as an issue. Not having somebody other than Brunson. And listen, Bridges is doing his thing, and hopefully that continues in the playoffs. The playoffs is just a different animal. And maybe, listen, schematically, the Knicks play a little differently as well. So, that should help as well, where it's not just one player that has to, run every action and be that, head of the snake, so to speak, floor general. We'll see. I hope you guys are right.
I consider it this way, Queen. If Brunson goes down at a key spot in the playoffs, we're burnt.
We're done anyway. I meant more in the non-Brunson minutes. You're right. I thought about that as well. If Brunson goes down, it's a wrap. But right. Just the I meant to say the non-Brunson minutes. Yeah. That's a good point. All right. Anything else? That's pretty much the extent of what I had.
Yeah, I got something I want to ask you.
Oh, yeah.
How comfortable are you that Mike Brown is going to be the tactician that the Knicks need in these close, competitive games, right? Like down the stretch of games where we're playing for seeding, when the playoffs start, maybe in the finals. How comfortable are you that Mike Brown can outfox the traditional Eastern Conference GOATs, the Spoelstras, and the guy in Indiana. How comfortable are you with that? With Mike
Well,
Brown?
Indiana, thank goodness, doesn't have a team. For me, Freezy, it remains to be seen. For me, I say that's the part about Mike Brown I don't know about, and we will see in the playoffs about game prep. I'm not worried about game prep. From what I understand, the Knicks will be prepared, but in-game adjustments, between game adjustments, that's what I'm looking to see for Mike Brown. So far, though, he's similar to Thibodeau in some ways, but different in the ways we need him, or at least I wanted him to be different in terms of the offensive schemes and things of that sort. But to your point, Freezy, I've said that. I said we're not going to know about Mike Brown, the tactician, until we get in that spot and we see him up close. There's one thing to say, when he was with Cleveland, he went to the finals. He's, he was an associate head coach or assistant head coach on those championship teams with Golden State. When Kerr was out with surgery, he did some bench coaching and they had a really, really good record there. Up close as a fan base, playoff game in and out. I think we'll see. How confident am I? I'm not going to say I'm not confident. I would just say I don't know. I don't know him. Like that. I don't know.
That's a really good point, Freezy. That's probably to me the number one biggest question that I have going to more than roster construction or asset management, or is this guy a 2A or 3A? Those questions to me are not the real point. It's, can Mike Brown outsteam the best head coaches out there? The one luxury we have is the best one we might face in the East is Spo. With Indiana being out and Missoula being out, their roster, I might say out, I mean their rosters are not in contention.
Right.
Spo is only one that I think has a true chance to outsteam us. So JB Bickerstaff, it's not someone I'm concerned with.
I'm not concerned about Detroit.
Right. And neither is Kenny Atkinson. The only one is there, it's Spoelstra. But I think we have shown talent-wise, this is the first time we match up with them. We have considerably more talent than the Miami Heat do. It's the finals. If we're going up against Martin Daigneault or he might actually be the only one. Udoka maybe with Houston. I might be like, damn, that might be a matchup that runs in their favor, not ours. But I don't have the recollection of Mike Brown in Cleveland, and he never really did enough to be with Sacramento or Lakers to point to a series that can be the monogram of how we judge him. I do want to go back to that Cleveland run and see how he did in 2007 in terms of matchups, but that's a different game. That's a different NBA.
Right. Yeah.
But did you see the way last night he got the officials to call that offensive foul down the stretch? I mean, that should encourage you more than anything, Freezy. I mean, that was big time right there, wasn't it?
You know what? And that's a good point, right? But what I'm encouraged by is recognition, like a recognition of an exploited factor versus your team, like recognizing like, hey, listen, this mismatch, this thing that we're seeing right here is something that we can't handle. What can we do right now to fix this so this 4-point lead won't turn into a 17-point lead, and then we have to fight back and then burn energy and burn players out to get that lead back to 6, only to lose and then have a guy not play the next day because of such and such and such. So now you lost the game and the player when you could have made a timely adjustment using your resources to not only win, but manage your roster. That's what, because Queen Bee, in those situations that you're saying, like these playoff situations, a lot of times teams that lose in the playoffs don't make the adjustment quick enough. They don't diagnose what they're seeing.
Right.
They see it, but they don't diagnose and can't come up with a solution or resolution. Right. They allow it to play out, and then all of a sudden that 4-point lead you had turns out to be a 9-point deficit. Now you have to scrap your game plan, the one that you prepared for the in-game adjustment. Mm-hmm. And then now you're playing to the strength or playing into the teeth of your opponent as opposed to you playing to your strengths? Can Mike Brown do that when he's facing the adjustment to the adjustment to the adjustment? That's my question for Mike Brown, because basketball, for the most part, in the regular season is going to be basketball for the most part in the regular season. The Knicks are going to win somewhere between 48 and something games. We know that already. You could just roll the ball out there with the talent we have, and we're going to win 48 plus games, right? What's going to happen if the Knicks get that 2-7 matchup against the Miami Heat? Is what I'm concerned about, right? So it's because if this team loses in the first round, Mike Brown might be out of here, or at least the fan base will want him out of here. The Knicks won't get him out of here, but the fan base will.
I mean, Dolan's pockets are deep, but 30 minutes to million to Thibodeau and playing Mike Brown and bringing somebody else in, I don't know. I want to get to one sentiment in the chat that I'm not quite I don't quite understand. Let's see if I can find it. Knicks have struggled with Orlando the last 2 years. Knicks are not a championship team, struggling with Dallas Mavs, who's depleted. No Davis, Kyrie, or Flag. Winning the title this year is foolishness. I think this Knicks team is not that good. When you struggle against an injured Mavs team and Knicks healthy, something not right with the team. Can we make a distinction, and it's not very nuanced, between struggling in a game and now not being a championship contending team? The Knicks struggled last night. They did not shoot well. They missed 16 free throws. They was a raggedy ass team last night. Like I'm with you on that,
Right.
You know. But to say because you struggled with a depleted team, that means you're not a championship contender. I just don't.
The Pistons needed overtime to beat the Wizards, and everybody's ringing their bell as championship contenders. So how is that any different? The Wizards are objectively worse than even that injured Mavs team. So, I mean, you can play that game all day long if you want to. I mean, look, it's the league for a reason. Every team on any given night has enough to beat any other team. These are the top 500 players in the world, and they're that for a reason. There are more talented rosters and there are less talented rosters. But if you don't bring it on that night, if you have a night when, I don't know, you miss 1,800 free throws and 3,200 3-pointers, and you were still up at halftime, by the way, somehow, like miraculously, that like you're gonna have nights like that, and it's a grind. You've got to win every night. You look at, even the best team in NBA history in the regular season lost 11 games, and they didn't even win the championship, right? Golden State lost that year, but so all I'm saying is you can't judge it by one game. You have to judge it by the totality of things.
Absolutely.
This is a nitpick, Geoff. This is nitpick because the Knicks beat like 6 or 7 teams with winning records. And then just to pick out, we struggle with Dallas is like, but look at this win though, right? Not to look at the win over Chicago when they were undefeated. Anybody remember that? Yeah. When Chicago was the darling in the Eastern Conference, nobody remembers that. When Chicago was 6-0, they beat the Knicks to get to 6-0, and then we beat them the next time we saw them. Remember that red hot Chicago team, right? So I mean, and I'm not saying that Knicks fans shouldn't be concerned or their points aren't valid. I'm saying is, everything's not going to be perfect. Like no team is going to go 82-0, right? Whether it's, no team is going to go undefeated. It's a learning process. Mike Brown needs time to figure out what he has. And once he does, we're confident that what he wants to employ, he will employ. And then plus also, shout out to my homeboy, man, my little brother State. I don't know what his name is now. It's State or something. He changed his name a lot. So shout out to State. But State is like, man, Mike Brown is legit coaching with the players that Tom Thibodeau had brought in. And so you have to give, or it would be reasonable for someone to give Mike Brown a reasonable amount of time to adjust to these type players, right? Shout out to State for saying something, saying something that people have not been saying. Like, this is not the roster Mike Brown put together. Like, he didn't go in and handpick all of this stuff. Is the roster talented? Yeah. Mike Brown has to figure out a way to get this thing to gel, and he's going to do that. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to be encouraged, Freezy, I'll tell you what a couple things that may lean you in that direction. They may not, but allow me a little latitude here. First of all, last night we saw offense for defense substitutions down the stretch, right?
Yep.
We saw Brunson and Cat both come out of the game when we needed a defensive stop. We had Mitch and we had Lee. Who were the guards out there at the time? I know it was Deuce. I'm pretty sure it was Deuce.
I think it was.
But
yeah, it was Deuce and Shamet.
Deuce and Shamet. So he had defense, and then when Mitch got fouled and they were not in the bonus yet, boom, the Brunson and Cat come back in the game. That's a small thing, right? But I don't know that something that Thibodeau did very often. So that's a little bit different. I think that part of the frustration for us right now is that I think Mike Brown is kind of doing some lineup tinkering at times just to kind of see what stuff looks like at various stretches. And sometimes it's been very successful, and at other times it looks really, really bad. And so, and hopefully on the stuff that looks really, really bad, he just locks that in the Foot Locker and never opens it again. But on the stuff that looks good, maybe that's something that when we're fully healthy, that's not a configuration that you mean
from a schematic thing or rotational thing?
Lineup.
Okay.
I'm talking about lineups.
Okay.
In this case, Freezy. Excuse me. But you're a much better schematic guy than I am, and Lee's really good at it too. I understand that part.
That's what my wife says. She says I'm good with schemes.
I'm going to leave that one alone. But I understand it when guys like you and Benji Ridholtz and Lee explain it to me. I'm on board, and DJ Zulo and some others. I'm always on board when I see it, but I'm not the guy who watches the game and that stuff just like reaches out and grabs me. At least on the first take, although having been on shows like this, I look at that stuff a lot more than I used to. So thank you to those folks who are able to see the game through that lens naturally. That's been very helpful as far as me watching the game better, and I do look for those things more. But so I'm not as in tune to the schematic things, but I do know that he has tried a lot of different lineups at various times that he still uses the same pretty much 9 players. I would say that maybe he goes to a 10th, but I think that's going to be pretty consistent. But still, the utilization of those players has been different. And I think what I've seen early on is that the 3-guard lineup, regardless of which 3 guards it is, seems to be the best way to go for this team. It gives us the proper amount of versatility. And it doesn't really matter which 2 bigs you throw in there, especially when OG Anunoby is healthy. It really seems like that combination brings us the most balance on both sides of the court. We're able to defend well enough and get the most out of our offense. And I think when Cat is the big there, I think it helps him too, because they can get out and run, and they can give him more space and allow him to attack the basket more. And also, if we have guys like Shamet and McBride in the game at the same time, they're not getting beat off the dribble as much, so you're not as much in need of a rim protector as you are when your point of attack defense is getting blown by. Then you need someone to help and protect the rim more. So I think that those are all things that I've seen early on that give me hope that Mike Brown is going to be able to adjust when push comes to shove, but we won't know until he's under the bright lights and in that crucible, and that's when we're going to find out.
Right.
That's one of Jeff's best takes I've ever heard. That's an excellent take, Jeff.
Last question. Any surprise that Shamet starts when somebody is out? Any surprise at the number of minutes he's getting? Any surprise that there are times when he plays more than Deuce McBride, or that he's starting over Deuce, or that he closes? Though last night Deuce did get, of those last 5 minutes, I think 2 and something. It was kind of 2 minutes to 3 minutes. But that Shamet is closing. Has that surprised anyone?
The most engagement I've ever done on a tweet was last year under Tibbs. when I said that my hot take was Landry Shamet should start at the 2 guard spot over Josh Hart. And it was the most views and engagement and the most hate and the most agreements I've ever had on a single tweet. And I said that because I thought Shamet fit the criteria of what Tom Thibodeau's shooting guard position was, which was very few on-ball reps, but someone who is dependent upon to be the primary transition defender, also someone who needs to slot in, defend the rim, and pick and roll coverage, someone who's catch and shoot, someone who needs to be a relocator on the perimeter as well, not have too many ball handling duties, and not have any plays ran for him. Just hit those grenades to bail out a shot clock. And Landry Shamet, to me, checked all those boxes. He is someone who has played in 8 or 9 different systems under 8 or 9 different coaches with hundreds of different teammates. And no matter who you surround him with, he can give you a pretty high floor in any type of scenario. And I was like, well, looking at who we have, 4 guys who are all borderline all-star in Cat, OG, Bridges, and Brunson. Who do you need that doesn't need to complain, just go and put their lunch pail hat on and go to work? It's Shamet. And I think Mike Brown has seen that vision as well. And that's why Shamet has been the guy that's both been the starter and closer when injuries occur. But then now he's being used even more so on ball. Now that he's been one of the best cutters, not just on the Knicks, but the entire NBA. And all the basketball I watch, no one is hitting that 45 cut or that backdoor cut with the efficiency of Landry Shamet. And it has been a central part of our offense, not just when he's getting the ball on that cut, but even just the ghost and the potential of that cut is expanding and bending our defense to make for more open driving lanes and more wide open threes, because those guys have a hedge and consider in covering him, potentially getting to the basket. So I've loved both on ball and off ball what he's brought to the offense. And defensively, as Geoff pointed out when I first hopped on, he's a dog. Not just point of attack, but as I said, at the rim, in transition, and who uses the baseline better than Landry Shamet as a secondary defender than in the entire team. He has caused so many turnovers. And last night was a good key. I thought right when Brandon Williams caught the ball, he really positioned himself to put him in a really difficult downhill slot to try to get to the rim by putting his body and using the baseline as a secondary defender. So to me, I love Shamet. I think he should start over anybody else, and he should be getting more minutes right now, Medusa Bride, because he's hitting his threes.
Man,
Yeah,
you are speaking my
first of all, it seemed like he was the only one down the court on that last play. I'm like, where's everybody else? But again, it was like 2 passes and boom on the run. Freezy, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, Lee is speaking my love language. Man, that's my love language, bro. Like, you sitting here, bro, I had just had hearts. Y'all don't see the hearts popping all over this thing up here, right? And because he's absolutely right on a thing. So here's the thing. It's like on these 45 cuts, I've seen Deuce do it. Deuce cuts, but his body is not positioned where the passer can see a passing angle, and he's looking straight ahead as he goes. So he's not a threat. When a defense sees that, they just let him go because he's not even actively a part of the offensive play. It looks like he's running to the back. He's not positioned where the passer, even if it's a small window, can threaten the defense, right? And then there were others. I saw Josh do it as well. Josh jogged through the lane. This is supposed to be a 45 cut, right? Josh jogs through the lane. He gets bumped, and then he stops in the lane, right? And so you have these guys like Landry Shamet that are excellent cutters. Now, I'm not adding the other stuff like the explosiveness of guys that you want, like Cedric Ceballos or Scottie Pippen, or those guys that did 45 cuts that could actually catch and finish in traffic, or catch and make passes to the next guy, right? But when you have guys that cut to the rim and make themselves available, the defender, knowing this, has to drop back and account for the person behind them and the person in front of them, which gives that person in front of them maybe a window to shoot, right? Or maybe a window to slide to create the passing angle to hit the person that's cutting, right? But when you do that, now you force other defenders that have their eyes on something else. They see the cutter and the potential for that cutter to get a pass. Now they slide back over here to protect, right? And that leaves your guys in the corner open for 3, where these guys get these 3-point looks, right? And if we can get that, because Cat does it. Cat starts on this short wing area, and he just does the Maggette cut to the rim. He just crashes in a straight line, like the dump truck down the street. He's going to go through the wash and force his way through there. Well, when Cat does that, people know Cat can catch the ball, and he know Cat's a career 20-point per game scorer, maybe more, whatever, right? So he's a threat. So what that does, the defenders now have to move their feet, which creates shots for other guys. And then on the backside of that, when you have your deuce or your OG cutting from the other side, the rim protector that's there sees the spaghetti cut coming from one guy, a baseline cut coming from another guy. Meanwhile, you have somebody setting the screen for Jalen Brunson, and now all the stuff that we complained about last year, where, man, there's no backside action to our pick and roll. He just basically comes set the screen. We don't have that now. These are like the small adjustments of what an offensive-minded coach brings to a team, and what that does is it makes guys like OG Anunoby start this year having a career year. Right, OG Anunoby, before he was injured, legitimately, at least from what we've seen, was having a career type year. We were talking about OG Anunoby All-Star, right? Before OG pulled his hamstring, we were like, hey man, if he keeps this up, he might make the All-Star team. But it's system stuff. When guys do their job, then it makes it easier for other guys to do their job. But when you don't get that,
Bridges does a good job with those cuts as well.
Yes,
I think he is very, very underrated, right? And I think Mikal Bridges to me is the salutatorian, right? You know how you have a valedictorian and then the salutatorian, the person that does everything at a high level but does nothing great. And what I mean is if one person has a 4.2 grade point average, and then there's somebody with the 3.95 grade, that's Bridges, because he does everything fundamentally sound all the way down to hustling. If you don't hustle, Bridges will get on you, right? Like he does all of these things. He can play point guard for you. He can defend anybody on the floor. He's going to be healthy and play every game. He's going to screen away from the ball to get your Landry Shamet and guys open. So he's going to do all these. I'm getting too basketball. Man, my bad, y'all. I know sometimes we get a little too basketball-y and people like be like, yo, why are you talking about basketball?
I personally love it. I thought you could.
Yeah, this is what I'm here for, Freezy. Don't you stop now, bro.
You get the two stir fries right now, bro. You cook in the kitchen.
Hey, man. Hey, if we can get our passers to create passing angles for Mitchell Robinson, right? Like Mitch just run down there. He's like, he's not going to pass me the ball anyway. But if you incorporate Mitch, now he's slamming through the wash. Guys have to keep their head on the swivel. And occasionally you could throw the lob to him, maybe once a quarter or something like that, just to let the defense know y'all have 1 foot here, but really y'all want to scramble out to the three-pointer. We need to run plays like throw that lob to Mitch where defenders need to be cognizant that we're threatening the rim on every play. So scrambling out to the corner or to the three-point line is their second responsibility, not halfway here and halfway there. So it's some stuff. Mike Brown will get it right. We'll get there.
For sure. Any last words? I got to get that 6:30 a.m. flight tomorrow.
Oh, where you going?
Bedtime calling it.
Oh, man.
Freezy just like, I'm just getting warmed up. It's run time. We
pack our bags.
Yeah, I listen, Ajay, Geoff, appreciate you, Uncle Freezy, hopping on, Lee Escobedo, writer, poet, playwright. Appreciate you hopping on as well. Any last words?
You guys can come on anytime. Every Thursday we do this.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Definitely up the level of the show. I always appreciate you guys and your takes, and you guys understand the game so much better than I do.
And the schematic perspective as well adds value to the show. So I appreciate that as well.
Queen, you know what it is? They pay more attention to the game because, like, Cat would miss a shot, and then I turn my head away, and I miss like the other 2 minutes, and I'm yelling, screaming. By the time I go back, I don't see I missed 2 minutes of action. These guys actually stay focused.
Right.
So I do have one thing. If y'all could check out my post from today, I did a parody of Don McLean's American Pie. I'm a big Rutgers Scarlet Knight basketball team fan, and they're the worst 4-0 team in Division I right now. So it's going to be a long season, and I did a take on that. I hope you'll enjoy it. I think it's kind of fun. I think it's actually one of the best pieces I've done in a while. And if you don't want to see that, then there's a Knicks post game on the Mavs game that'll be up tomorrow. So
I read it, Jeff. It was great. It was
Thank you.
Right.
I'm reading it tonight. I'm about to post on Twitter.
Any other last words? Nope.
No, just appreciate you having me on, Queen. I appreciate that you always allow me to join y'all. Again, I'm here in Texas, so I can't just walk to the bodega and talk Knicks with my fellow Knicks fans. It's difficult for me to find people.
Can't even find a bodega. What do you mean walk to a bodega? Like you walking for 7 days, bro.
Right.
Welcome to a CVS, which doesn't hit the same. You know what I mean?
I ain't talking Knicks in the barbecue joints. I'm just telling you right now.
I love this channel. You know, I mean, I wear my hat. I'm KOT through and through, but DopeSoulSports is my absolute number 2 favorite podcast. And Uncle Freezy's Laundry Tier is my number 3. So when I saw him on the pod, I was like, I cannot deny this opportunity to hop on with that link that you so graciously share with me. And I always appreciate the love you guys show. And in the chat, you have a great chat here as well.
Yeah, for sure. Are you available Sunday morning, or do you have
I have church on Sunday morning. Yeah.
You have church. Ajay, you too? Okay. All right. I'm surrounded by.
We're not heathens on this podcast.
Queen, what
Not
time?
anymore.
What time those?
It's early. It's early. 10 o'clock. That's right when they start.
I'm in the middle of my sermon at 10 o'clock.
Just trying to get to a certain place. That's all I'm just saying.
I want y'all there with me. That's for sure.
Right.
In that game, I don't want to be the visit. I don't want to have the road team jersey on when that day comes. That's all.
Amen.
I don't want to be on the Wizards. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to be on the
We
Knicks.
want to be in the lottery at that point. We want to be on the championship team.
Listen, I appreciate you guys. Shout out to the chat. Very active. Tonight, as always, diversity of opinion is fine. We don't always have to agree, but we don't have to be disagreeable, right? We could be, respectful, and for the most part, it took a while for us to get here. Remember, it took some time for us to get here, but
our mods were real busy once upon a time.
Right?
Yeah.
That way.
Right. Exactly. Anyway, until next time, I'll try to be on Sunday if I can find some. I might have to be on by myself from Orlando. So, Sunday around 10 a.m.
He's always a good ad.
Who's that?
AD.
Anthony D.
Oh, Anthony D. He probably ain't talking to me because we haven't done another episode of the show. I got to get back.
What better time to give him a call and extend the olive branch and tell him you could tell him he could be the star of the show.
Right. All right. Anyway, I appreciate all of you. Until next time.
All right.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. DopeSoul.
Where you at? Where you at?
DopeSoul.
Where you at? Where you at?
DopeSoul.
What?
DopeSoul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
No joke.